Alright guys, so today we're going to take a look at another open ear style pair of earbuds, but this time it's more from the budget side. And the pair that we're going to check out today is the EarFun OpenJump. Now the OpenJump is a pair that I saw that EarFun was promoting at CES, but I've actually had this pair for a few weeks now. I've had plenty of time to really kind of push these through the test and kind of see how they stack up against a lot of the more expensive ones. Again, I've said this, that this year it's definitely going to be the year for open ear style earbuds. So we're gonna see them all over the place, from like the less expensive, budget friendly ones all the way to the much more expensive ones, kind of like what we've seen yesterday with the Open Rock X. But the EarFun OpenJump only comes in retailing at $79, although right now, because it's just coming out, there is an early bird price where you can get it for $55. That deal is good until December the 20th, which I'll have all of this linked in the description. But here is what EarFun did with a pair that you can get for $55. From a design standpoint, they look a lot like the Soundcore AeroFit Pro, or maybe even the Shox OpenFit. They are very flexible with the silicone that goes around your ears, but they're not flexible as far as being able to adjust the ear hooks on your own. So once you put them around your ears, they're kind of stuck exactly where they're going to be. There's not a lot of flexibility there. Luckily, it sits right over my ear canal, exactly where I would want them to. From the case standpoint, the case is pretty simple. It's just one of those more flat style cases made for this style of earbuds. And then as far as the controls go, it does use touch controls, and I am happy to say that you do get control over everything out of the box. So, you know, you can go within their app and switch around controls if you want to, but you do not have to because you get control over everything just, again, right out of the box. From a technology standpoint, and this is not what I expected in this price range, you get high-res certification because these do support LDAC playback. So you're getting very high-end Bluetooth codec just right out of the box. You're getting IP67. This is technically considered dust-proof and waterproof. So if you're out at the beach and there's sand flying around, or if you're on a job site and dust and everything's flying around, you don't have to worry about that damaging your earbuds. And with this pair, on top of being good against sweat and rain and splashes and things like that, if you do happen to drop them into water, that's not going to damage these either. So that is definitely a huge plus. On top of that, these do have Bluetooth 5.3, so they do support multi-point connection. You can connect to more than one device at a time. Now, the LDAC, if you're going to have it in LDAC mode, you cannot have multi-point connection. This has just been the case with pretty much every earbud or headphone that offers this. You cannot do both of those at the same time, so do keep that in mind. But there's also a gaming mode that you can switch these into if you want to cut down on any kind of lag if you're going to be gaming with these or possibly watching movies. And it also has a theater mode or spatial audio mode. The theater mode, though, I do want to point out, is only good for like movies, maybe TV shows. But if you're going to try theater mode with music, I think it absolutely just destroys it. I just don't think that spatial audio is really set up to be good with music in general, but that's just a personal preference. So all of this is done within the app. There's also a Find My Earbuds feature if you happen to lose them. And then outside of that, within the app, you do have different EQ options. I will say there's not like a huge difference switching between one to the next, but I did notice once I went through their like kind of custom hearing test where it would just set up an EQ based off things that I, did while going through the testing. That was actually pretty beneficial. It made a huge difference in the sound quality, which we'll talk about once we actually get to the sound. Now, as far as accessories and anything that comes inside the box, this is very simple. This pair does not use ear tips, so none of this is included. It does come with a USB-C cable, which you will need to use to charge these, and the battery life is actually pretty impressive. Now, if you're just going to use them with the LDAC off, the gaming mode off, and all of that, you can get about 11 hours on the earbuds themselves, and with the charging case, you're going to get around 42 hours total. I think that's very impressive. I think the 11 hours obviously is going to get most people through a normal work day, but do keep in mind though, if you do have gaming mode on or theater mode or LDAC, your battery life is definitely going to decrease depending on what you're using. Now, if you do happen to pick them up and they are dead, there is a fast charging feature where a 10-minute charge will get you about 2 hours of use. And like I've said in previous videos, that always comes in handy. Now, if you are going to use these for taking phone calls, they do have 4 microphones total. It is using the AI, what they call it, to kind of cancel out some of the noise around you so that you'll come through a little bit clearer. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So I'm outside with the EarFun OpenJump. I am recording outside so that maybe you can hear some, noise going on around me, maybe the wind or traffic. But really, this is just to give you an idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound. So on top of these using 14.2 millimeter drivers, they're also using what EarFun calls bass surge. And technically this is the DSP, the digital signal processor inside the earbuds, just trying to elevate the low end a little bit. And for the most part, this is actually pretty effective depending on what you're listening to. If you're listening to pop or hip hop or anything that's a lot more simplified as far as the genre goes, definitely has some really aggressive punch to it. Now, it's not going to be like subwoofer type bass. It's not going to be, rattling your ears or anything like that. But it does have a nice punch. But where it kind of falls off, and this is again by design because a lot of open ear style earbuds suffer from this, but when you go to metal or rock where you have the drums going a little bit faster, mixed with guitars and bass guitars and vocals and just so many different things, the bass doesn't seem to be as powerful. Now, it still has a nice little punch to it, but it's trying to keep up and it's trying to be very fast, so the bass doesn't sit around as long as it does in genres like, again, pop and hip hop. So if you are a bass head, I don't necessarily know that open ear style earbuds are going to be the way to go for you in general, but you'll be fine for the most part if you're listening to pop and hip hop. But if you're just somebody like me that goes to all these different genres and I just want this really aggressive low end, that's not what this style is really made for. So do keep that in mind. But when it comes to the sound stage and the sound imaging, one thing that this style of design is really good for is this. It sounds like you are in a very large room, and being able to tell where sounds are coming from, I just never had an issue with this pair. And honestly, my overall opinion on these, this checks almost any box that you could technically want in a pair under $100. So the fact that right now you can get them for about $55, I think makes this pair extremely easy to recommend. But this is kind of the case with just EarFun earbuds and headphones in general. They're one of those companies I pretty much gravitate towards anything that they release because I know you're getting a lot for your money. And the OpenJump did not disappoint here either. Being able to get LDAC playback, being able to get battery life that could last as long as it does and get people through a full work day, and with the case being able to get around 42 hours, I think is huge. The drivers that they're using mixed with the DSP that's in here, I think they're doing a really good job of trying to push as much as they possibly can with this style of earbud. And I would definitely put these up against pairs like the Soundcore AeroFit 2 or the Shocks Open Fit and things like that. I do wish that the arms were flexible. I've noticed a lot of companies doing this, and I see the benefit of being able to just position the speaker exactly where you want it to. So I was a little disappointed that this pair does not have this. I would have liked to have seen wireless charging, but this is, again, another feature that's not very common in this style of earbud. But that IP67 rating, I think, is huge because, again, this style of earbud is made to just put on from the time that you wake up and hopefully just be able to make it through a full day, no matter what the environment is. So if it's windy, if it's dusty, if it's wet, if it's whatever, you want something that can withstand all of that and still be able to listen to what you want to listen to all day long and be able to go into the office and listen to something and still be aware of your environment. That's what these are for. This style of earbud is not meant to completely just take over true wireless earbuds, something that can seal you off and cancel out all the noise around you. So always keep that in mind if you're looking at this style anyway. But guys, that wraps up my video on the brand new EarFun OpenJump. I think this is a really good buy at $79, but I think it is a hell of a bargain coming in at $55. But thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.